Hello guys, Samu7 here. It's going to be another tournament analysis video, and I recorded like the 5th game as the first commentary, and then I just decided, you know what, I want to do this, just feeling it, I'm not streaming today. I'm taking the next 2 days off, and it was like, I want to make some videos, and it's like, you know what, why don't I just do analysis on this entire tournament? Why don't I just do it on every game? Because I haven't done that for any of them yet, and I was really proud of our win, our run in this one. It wasn't perfect, but it was really good. It was really close. And I was like, why don't I just do it on this one? So that's what I'm gonna do. And I haven't like watched over these gameplays before doing this. This is just gonna be fresh to me. Obviously, I played the games, right? But that was yesterday, and a lot of time has passed since then. So, and what happens when you're in like a competitive environment too? And I'm sure if anybody, anybody that's done any competition at any point, literally at any level, will relate to this. The memory is a little off with that. Like when you're truly focused and you're like dialed in, I honestly I'll remember like certain moments, but in terms of like for example, like when I watch like scrims for COD or anything, and they'll just pull up like a random moment throughout the game. It's like, yeah, I can do that. I can pull up a random moment in my brain, but like trying to map out the whole thing, like it gets kind of messy. Like I'm sure as I watch this game, I'll remember like certain plays, like right there landing top mid on that team and getting out. I remember that, but I don't remember the entire like course of this game. So it's gonna be fun doing this analysis, going through like remembering how our run exactly went. Even though I did it myself, like kind of like rediscovering it in a sense, it's gonna be kind of fun. Because truthfully, again, I don't remember everything that happened. I remember some of the big plays, but in terms of like, I can't just be like, oh, game 3, bro, game 3 was insane, I don't remember that. For me, it'd be like, oh, the game where I had like 12 kills, that was a pretty hype game. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I can still offer some insightful analysis, even though I'm not gonna be, even though it's gonna be like pretty fresh to me as we watch it. So the only thing I have to break down off this drop is that we were still doing our like. I don't even know what that place is called, to be honest with you. That little set of buildings in between Salvage and Market here. This is where we were landing, or where we've been landing for most of the season. We actually make an adjustment, and it's funny because the last commentary that I recorded, that's going to be later in the series, I made a whole talk about not making adjustments to game plans. But we actually made an adjustment on that because we found that our game plan for World's Edge was working really well. And we haven't played any games on World's Edge at this point in the tournament. We started off in Kings Canyon. We found that our strat on World's Edge was working really well, and that our Kings Canyon was not. So that's why we decided to make the adjustment, because our Kings Canyon strategy that we had was just not working. So here in the beginning, Matt gets knocked right there. We were just separated on that. First game, probably just like getting into the groove. But I was able to take out the teammate, fortunately. So I give myself a 1v1 here, and I'm not quite sure what this guy was doing in this 1v1 situation. First off, he just like runs out there, and yeah, some like rough shots right there, first game of the day. I don't know what happened there. I feel like at least one of my bullets should have hit there, but whatever. Anyways, also, the skips were really bad in this game, and I don't know why. Like the first 2 or 3 games we played, the skips were terrible. I can even see it watching here. And like for some reason, once we got in the groove, like the middle like 4 games or so weren't as bad. So that was pretty nice. I think that's part of the reason why we did so well in those games. Because if you watch here, like the skips that I was getting in this were really bad. Like I can see it while I'm watching over here. It's terrible. But it got better throughout the day, so that was good. Because usually that doesn't happen. Usually it doesn't get better. So I was really happy about that. Yeah, Apex fixer servers. Anyways. Get that kill on the Watson, get that team wipe. Don't know why the Watson played it the way that they did, but I'll take what I can get. Get the respawn on Matt, which is pretty clutch because if he died, that would have been tough. I get the call out from him here. This is one thing you always want to do when you're being respawned. Always look around for any angles you could be pushed from. That's what Matt did. He called out those guys on the zip line. That's why I was pre-aiming it before I even knew that they were there. Got a few shots on them. Make the call here that they're going top mid. I'm honestly in a pretty bad position here. I give myself the best cover possible by crouching behind this little top area here. I get a few shots on the jib, get some info. We know that they're both blue because I shot the Octane blue before, so good to get that intel. We know that they're both blue. We know that we're both purple. So we know that we have the health advantage, and we think we can maybe take this fight. Matt starts to push up. I tell him I'm a little bit off. So he basically has like a 1v1 on this jib, but the jib just like freaks out, so he gets that easy kill. Good play. I make the call here that the Octane's up top, and I'm like, you know what, this is a dumb fight for me now that Matt dropped, so I'm like, I'll just drop with you. We can play the Thirst and make this guy drop. So that's what we do. I drop towards Matt, we play this together, and we're basically just baiting this guy out. I just totally baited the guy right there. Matt tried to grapple up, messed up the grapple, so flew off. So we're back at the bottom. At this point, I'm like, alright, you know what, let's just kill the Gibraltar. Like, we're not really doing anything here, so we thirst the Gibraltar, start to force this guy's hand a little bit. Matt unfortunately gets third-partied at just a terrible time, so I make a quick heads-up play. I'm like, you know what, if Matt dies here, the game's probably chalked. Like, I should try to go for the revive. So, and he also called the third party like across the, I'm just gonna say, river. So I knew that team needed to either take the jump tower or cross the bridge, so I thought I had time. I get the portal down, he gets through the portal, for 5 back into the portal. Not a big deal, because that team still wasn't there yet. I dropped the Phoenix for the heal, and we basically, this is just a reset moment here. We just sit in here. This Mirage, that was just a dumb push. Get an easy knock on him. And that was a pretty big knock too, because Matt's still taking the Phoenix, and I barely took any damage, so we get the free knock on him. I'm starting to force the Thirst. I'm making the call like, okay, where's this guy's teammate? I believe they already killed the Octane, but I'm not sure. That guy hits a nice shot on me with something. I'm not sure what he shot me with. Maybe Sentinel Disruptor? I don't know. But he cracked my shields. Matt takes the fight with him. I don't have the angle yet. I just get there in time as he gets the melee kill, so I don't know how that fight went, but, you know, we'll take it. So, a little sloppy, the first game of the run here. You can tell, a little sloppy, especially from the first game that I recorded the analysis of. This is so sloppy compared to that. So this is why you warm up. This is why you warm up. I even went in the firing range for like a little bit before this, and I was still sloppy, so it's funny. But I don't know, that's just the way I am. Like, I'll play decent, but it really takes me like an hour before I start like frying. So, you know, probably get a few games in before you start your run. But this time we were just like, hey, you know, we were just feeling it, so we just went into it. And despite the sloppiness, we're still alive here. We're still alive. There's still 8 squads left. Matt makes a spot here. So I get up top because I think I'm gonna have sorry, I think I'm gonna have a pretty good angle on him. Matt takes a chow on the guy top mid. I didn't even know there was a guy there, but he gets the kill, so nice. You know, didn't really know what was going on there, but sweet. Gets the Thirst on him. I'm really confused on where this initial guy that he pinged went, because like he pinged the guy over at that building. I was searching it the whole time. I never saw anybody, so I'm not really sure what happened there. So now I'm just calling to Matt. It's like, you know what? Just drop down, get your heal, because we hear that guy above that was jump towering. So I was like, okay, just drop on me. You can get your heal. And we know this is last guy, or might be a new team. I'm not sure. I believe this is last guy. So we know it's a lifeline. We know she has red. I get some damage. Back off here. Take my battery. I'm really close to red shield. I tell Matt here that I'm healing up, that I'm going to, you know, we should just get full healed. We have a 2v1. We already thirsted the guy, so we know that she can't stick res. So it's like, you know what, let's just play this smart. The way we got to play this, we got to just take a 2v1. So Matt getting his heals off, maybe getting some damage in. I tell him I'm pinching the other side. This probably isn't the best way to push it. It's probably better to just 2v1 together. But the lifeline makes a good call and realizes that we separated. Like I said, this was probably not the best way for us to approach this. But luckily, Matt got her weak enough, and it worked out. Like, I got there in time to get the finish before he got thirsted, so worked out. Not exactly, again, still sloppy. Like, our team play is not exactly on point here, but again, worked out. I mean, we're getting knocked a lot. We even had a respawn this game. Not the greatest gameplay of our tournament run, but we're making it work. We're making it work. So that's all that matters. We're staying alive. There's still 6 other squads left. Plenty of kills we could get on the board. Still playing for those win points. And we also have loot. We also have loot. And this is actually, I wanted to explain this. This is the reason why we switched up our strategy, because landing where we land on Kings Canyon and taking these fights, we just don't have loot. We just don't have loot a lot of the time. Like, this game was a very rare case where we actually had loot after taking a bunch of fights and being fought by other teams in this area. Most of the time that doesn't happen. Most of the time we come out of here with like a couple kills, but we have like nothing, and we just get screwed over because of it, which is why we changed up our strategy. This time, on the other hand, it was just the opposite. We just actually had loot. We, you know, got third-partied by some teams that were clearly looting around the map. We were able to kill them, and that worked out. That was just fortunate, you know. That just doesn't always happen. Fighting from this area when we play this this route. So even though we figured that this route was pretty decent for kills. That's why we make the adjustment when we go back on Kings Canyon later in the tournament, and why we're making that adjustment when we play future tournaments. We play maps on Kings Canyon. The reason why we're making that adjustment is just because the place we were landing right there, where I was just looking, that's where we were landing. We don't get any loot. It's so RNG. We're totally relying on getting a decent enough gun to just kill the teams at like salvage or market, just like third party them. And then even when we do that, we don't even they don't even have that much loot. So it's just we're not working out. We're just not we're setting ourselves up to get a few kills early game to have a really bad situation for mid game. And World's Edge, we're playing completely the opposite. We're playing to set ourselves up for mid and end game, and that was working really well. So that's why we make that adjustment. Of course, this is the first game here, and this is, I believe, not after this game, but the game after this game is where we make the adjustment. That's where we discussed. We were like, you know what, this doesn't work. Like, let's switch this up. And that's important. Like, the commentary I just recorded, which will be later in the series, I talked a lot about how like sticking to your game plan is important, but at the same time, it's like it's a hard like contrast to pull off. So like sticking to your game plan is important, but at the same time, if things aren't working, you need to be able to recognize that they're not working, and you need to be able to make adjustments on the fly. Like I know it's like, oh, you're just saying like both things, but it's true. Like both things are important. It's not just sticking to your game plan. It's not just adapting. Like you got to be good at both, and you got to know like when to stick to your guns and when to recognize that something's not working and when you should adjust. Basically, what I'm basically getting at is that when something is working, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Don't make adjustments because you feel like you need to make adjustments. Make adjustments when something's not working. But best way I could put it, probably. So we take out that first team. We get information on this other team. I tell Matt, like, you can heal because he was really low coming out of the zone. I'm going to get a good position here, put some damage in, get distraction, so that's what I do. Put a little bit of damage into those guys with the 301, get a good position. This Octane, that was just stupid. That was just stupid. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. That was just dumb. Can't really analyze that. That was dumb. This team threw. I don't know what the hell they were doing. They didn't care about winning. So we'll take it though. Free kill points, free damage for us, free points for our run. We will take that all day. And this is another important thing. Like, oh, hold up. So we get third-partied here. We heard the Bloodhound ult. That's why we were pretty well prepared on it, and we focused. I believe I called out that guy that I was shooting so that we shot the same guy, and it worked out. We melted him. Matt comes in with the grapple here. I get a good nade, get good damage, and we just totally pinch that guy out. We team shot the hell out of that team, and we get both the kills. So that was just good team play right there, and good job on us recognizing the Bloodhound ult as well, because like, I don't know, it's easy to not pay attention to the game sometimes, like when you're looting and things get calm and stuff like that. You have to be like on edge, because you know, if we're not exactly paying attention there and we recognize a little bit late that they're third partying, maybe they get pushed up more, maybe they get better positioning, maybe they get the jump on us a little bit better. But instead, we're paying attention, we recognize immediately that we're getting third partied, we get into position immediately, and we just handle it perfectly. So really important in a BR. It's really easy to be like lazy when nothing is going on. It's important to be like on your toes at all times. You know what I mean? Like if there's nothing going on, if there's no fight and you're looting, you don't necessarily need to be like cracked out of your mind. But you should at least be like prepared. You know what I mean? You should be ready to get in the zone if you think a team is pushing you, if that makes sense. Because you can't go like 100% the entire time when you're playing a BR, right? Like there's just going to be lulls in the game. There's just going to be lulls in the game. Like, nobody's going to be going, like, 200% literally the entire time. There are times where you got to, like, save energy, if that makes sense. I know it sounds kind of dumb, but I don't know. I find it to be true. But at the same time, you have to be, like, ready to take any fight. So here, I make the call to go for the jump tower to get info, try to figure out where the last team is. We figure out where they are. And this is a play call. And this is something I was going to bring up before that team third-partied us earlier. You need to be able to recognize when you're playing these pub kill race tournaments which teams are good and which teams are not. So like, obviously you want to play the teams that you think are good a little bit smarter, a little bit tighter. But the teams that you don't think are good, you can kind of just like outplay them, outskill them. So here, when I spotted those guys in the jump tower, the way they were playing, the position that they were holding, I told Matt, I was like, I don't think these guys are good. I'm just going to get a position, I'm going to get them weak, we should just push them, we should just end this out. So that's what I did. I get a good position, I got some good damage in on one of them. I had a terrible lag spike when that Bloodhound challenged me, so that almost got me killed. That was pretty sick. But I made a good play in, recognizing that, backing off, taking the battery. We know we have the last guy. We have 2v1. Matt grappled in a good position to help me with the Bloodhound. I get the easy pickup on the last guy. And, yeah, it was, we just played that well. We recognized that team wasn't that great, and we just played it well. And even in here, the tourney strats come into play a little bit. Every point counts. And when we recognized that the last guy had a gold knock, we were like, you know what? Just let him get it off. If he has a gold backpack, we'll get quite a bit of damage off this. So, unfortunately, he did not have a gold backpack, but we do get 30 extra points of damage, which doesn't seem like a lot. But in these tourneys, every point counts, and all of the tourneys that we've won, there's been a pretty close team behind us in second. And even in the ones where we finished second, we've been pretty close to first. So, every point counts. So that 30 damage may not seem like a lot, but you never know. You never know. One of our first trio tourney that we won, we literally won by 0.73, not even a full point. So you never know. That's it for game one, and now we'll roll into game two.